Welcome everybody to our first tutorial on crowntutorials.com. We can be starting off this series by talking about setting up an environment to be coding PHP in. To begin with, you're going to need to use some kind of a server package to be running PHP code in. Remember, PHP is not like C, C++, or Java, where you write it in a editor and you run it and it compiles it for you and you have something working. No, PHP, write the program, you save the file, and then you go to your web browser and you actually run the file that you just wrote. And the server will, run the code in the file and will display the results on your screen. And we'll explain more about this later. But point is, you need a nice little package of PHP, a database, and a server to get started right away. Now, in university, if you ever did this kind of stuff, they'll give you, some basic stuff, basic software. But I want to show you what I've been using for years, and it's been great so far. It's called WAMP. It includes, well, what it stands for is Windows, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. All the basics to start coding PHP. Now, you could get this software from wampserver.com. Let me switch it to English. It is not mine, but I love its simplicity because you just download the one you need for your browser, you install it very quickly, there's no trouble with it at all, and then you run the software. After you run the software, you're going to get a little green icon down here. Now, you could have some problems running this software if you have Skype open or TeamViewer, because they both use port 80, and so does Apache. Apache wants port 80. So you need to close down Skype and even TeamViewer sometimes. And what you're going to do is you're going to left click and start all services, and then it should go from your orange icon to your green icon. Now, to show you what I mean, I'm actually going to close this program and start up Skype, because the first time I did this, it was very annoying to not be able to get this program working. But let's see how it works. So again, we're going to start up WAMP server. It's going to start red, orange, and it's going to stop here because Skype. How do you know it's Skype? You left click, you go to Apache, you go to service, and you go test port 80. And it's going to tell you information not available but might be Skype. Now it's going to tell you this from TeamViewer as well. So point is, close Skype, close TeamViewer. Yahoo doesn't really go bother with it, so it's okay. But after you close it, alright, we're going to go to start all services again, and that's it. So now you have a functioning server. Now how do you know? Well, you're going to open your browser, and you're going to go to localhost, and then you're going to get this nice little web page here. Here, these are my projects, which are basically folders in our root directory, which you will see in a little bit. And these are some of the software that comes with managing your database and so on. What we're going to be using a lot is going to be PHPMyAdmin right here. This lists all my databases that I have. And you could create databases, you can manage databases. It's pretty simple, straightforward stuff, and we'll get used to it as time goes on. But let's just put a little nice hello world out there to get how this software works. Now, I like to use Dreamweaver. You can use any freaking editor out there. I don't care. You can use Notepad. But point is, use some kind of editor. Now, as you can see, I created a PHP page, but it has HTML in it. Why is that? Well, PHP and HTML are kind of entangled together, which means you can use HTML in PHP pages. PHP pages needs to end in .php. Again, it's kind of confusing for a beginner because you've been told, well, HTML pages end in .html. How could I use a PHP? How could I use HTML and PHP? Well, you can. And now we're going to test it out a little bit, and we're going to do a nice little example here, hello world. We're going to open up the PHP tags, and I'm going to close the PHP tags, and we're going to echo out hello world. Now we have to save this somewhere, so we gotta go make a new project folder, as I would like to call it, and we're gonna go do a new folder, and we're going to do start. Okay, we're gonna save this file into our server, which is gonna be your computer, WAMP, www start, which we just created, and we're gonna name it index.php. Now, the way Apache processes this is from top to bottom, so that's very important knowledge. It's not like Java where you can write a piece of code all the way at the bottom of the page, and you know, because it compiles it, it's gonna know what's at the bottom and what's at the top. You can't do that in PHP, and we'll see more of that later. So we're gonna go to our little project that we just started, and it says hello world. Cool, right? Now let me tell you about that whole bottom top thing again, because a lot of people don't seem to get this. So we're going to use a variable. Variables in PHP start like this. We're going to call it world, and you could assign variables just like this. Hello, oops, world. Now remember, this shouldn't work because world is declared below where we actually echo it out. Now let's see if I'm right or I'm wrong. Obviously I'm right. The reason why this doesn't work is, like I said before. And what we could do is move it up top above the actual echo statement, and oops, sorry, I went into the wrong thing. And it now works all over again. So remember this concept. PHP goes from top to bottom, you know, and that's pretty much it for the start. You need to have the software to start coding. You need to have an editor. There are many editors out there. You could choose whatever you want. There's free ones, there's paid ones, there's pretty ones, there's fat ones. It doesn't matter as long as they write any type of coding. Usually anything that writes HTML is going to be able to code PHP as well. Later on, we're going to get into more complicated stuff like writing a blog and so on. But for right now, this is all that I have. Again, if you want this software package, I will have a zip file on the page, or you get it from webserver.com. Thank you very much, everybody.